people define themselves by what they do, and they don't talk about who they are. They don't kind of, that's like the tip of the iceberg. Talk about your hobbies, your passions, your interests, your family, your visions, your favorite vacations, what you like to do if you get a free fucking 2 hours.
Hey everybody, my name is Tom LaFaso. This is the Follow the Winners podcast. Today I'm here with Adam Holtzer. We're going to be talking about Follow the Winners, what it means to him, the success behind it. We're really excited to get Adam's perspective on this. He's been introduced to me through a networking group and through somebody I met through there and then someone I met through there. Like, it's kind of crazy how I got to meeting Adam overall, but I'm super excited to have him on the podcast today. This is probably like the episode I've been waiting for the most, realistically. So I have Adam. Adam, please introduce yourself.
Adam. My name is Adam Holtzer. That's the introduction. Cool. By the way, I think scheduling these on Fridays, people just have different energy about them.
Probably. I mean, I'm hyped. So yeah, tell me about who you are, what you do, that kinds of thing.
Cool, man. Thank you for asking. So I grew up in the Dix Hills, Comac area. And 36 years later, where I am now, my wife and I bought our house a little less than a mile from where I grew up, actually. And we have 2 little children. My daughter Molly just turned 5, and my son Jackson just turned 2. To give everybody a basis, this is right now we are at February of 2023. So that's what's going on. And, I've been married going on 6 years this March. And tell you who I am, I think I could keep going. I could also stop.
Keep going. I mean, yeah, tell me more about you.
Sure, man. I never knew what I wanted to do growing up. I knew that I wanted to get married. I knew that I wanted to have a family. I knew that I wanted to, be in business. I didn't necessarily know what that looked like. I tell people quite frequently that growing up, I kind of felt like I had an identity crisis where it's like your parents kind of tell you to be a teacher because they get great vacations and holidays off and pensions. Look at Steve and Rochelle next door. They have the best life. So you go to school for teaching, and then you're like, man, I hate the politics of education. I bet the politics of business are better. And went into entrepreneurship. When I finished my master's at 24, went into business. Yeah.
What'd you get your master's in?
So I actually have a master's in health and physical education.
Oh, wow.
And I have an advanced certification for my undergrad in business, but I do not have an MBA. And for someone that had a lot of learning disabilities growing up and suffers from a little dyslexia and a lot of ADHD, I was not really a great student in schools growing up. And then I ended up doing a lot of college, and I've kind of figured out how to manipulate the system better.
Hey, I totally know where you're coming from, because school for me is not the traditional learning route. Even recently, someone was like, you need to read more. And I was like, I don't like to physically read, though. I was like, I don't like it,
What was your favorite subject growing up?
It probably was like English, because it allowed me to have the most creativity without getting bad grades. Like, there's no creativity in math, like, you get it wrong, you get it wrong. So I think that's why I liked it the most. I mean, social studies was always cool. I did pretty well, but I always found English. I always kind of maintained like a pretty solid grade.
That's awesome. I remember in English, I wasn't a very good student in English, but I was able to learn how to manipulate English class. When we used to do vocab words, I was a rock star at vocab words, because I would always find like a weird way to like attach something or connect something in my brain to that word to help me remember what that word's definition was. So like I was able to like accelerate, but it was like all fake acceleration. Like it wasn't like, it was more so learning to manipulate versus learning the actual
curriculum. Yeah.
What was your favorite food, if you got cafeteria food in school? Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I definitely had a favorite. I just remember the cookies they had were so good. They had like these chocolate chip cookies that were so good. It was probably like, mozzarella sticks. That was a big one.
Wow. Yeah, you're definitely younger than me. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
I was a double chicken nugget kind of guy. I remember when I went from elementary school to middle school, I remember when they changed the brand of chicken nuggets, and I cried my ass off, dude. Like, I think I actually might have gone home that day. Like, I was so upset because I love chicken nuggets so much, and they changed the brand.
Wow.
And like, dude,
Yeah.
I
And they
wouldn't have it.
downgraded, of course.
I don't know if it was a downgrade or not. It might have been a lateral move. It was just, but yeah, man, that's cool. Nice.
That is hilarious. I love that. All right. So to segue off of this, then, the question to break the ice of the conversation is, what does success mean to you?
Fucking happiness. I think making a difference to others, living the life that you want to live. I think that as an entrepreneur, a lot of people don't understand the sacrifices that you make to live the life that most people will never understand. And for me, the success is to make a difference to others, to build a legacy, a good brand, a good reputation, and to just be happy. I think so many people don't really, it's like a fake happiness. It's like the Facebook happiness. Everybody posts all the happy shit. I wish there was an opposite of Facebook where people would just post all the negative shit. Right?
Yeah, the real things.
The real life Facebook,
Yeah. No, I agree, because there's this stigma that you have to be like magazine cover every time you're posting stuff.
I think if you look at like your love language of what makes you happy, and if you could like create a world or an environment of that, and that's success to you, and you're happy every day, and you're enjoying your life, and you're making a difference, and you're doing what makes you feel like you're being yourself. That's what I define it as. I mean, I would love to hear what do you define? Pushing the question back to you.
Yeah, it's right. It's right in line with what you have to say. Definitely happiness. A legacy is big for me. I really want to be able to leave a legacy behind. I talk about this with my 90-year-old grandfather about leaving a legacy. And because of technology now, I picture myself having like a video legacy that like 5 generations down the line, they can refer to this video, and be like, oh, check out my great grandfather talking about how he got through his struggles and got through business and what he did to get there. And, I would hope that a lot of these like life lessons still would, be relevant.
I just want to say, Tom, I totally think that your 90-year-old grandfather should be co-hosting this podcast with you, even if he doesn't say anything. I wanted him to say something, but I think having your grandfather on the show would be freaking awesome. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a second round and we'll make it happen.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I definitely want to do second rounds with a lot of people because I'm working on kind of like a little studio setup here. So good. That'll be good. And I have brought it up to him. I was like, you need to come on this podcast. At first he was like, I don't know. I don't think I'd be good. And I was like, no, you will be. Like,
one of, subliminally, your grandmother, kind of left a legacy with you coming up with this podcast name and everything. I mean, that in its own way is a legacy that kind of was a stepping stone to get you to do this. So, it might have not, for her, it might have just been something that she'd said, but, we might think that we're not leaving a legacy behind or whatever the case is, but you never know how someone it's like yourself, you take a little creativity behind it and you make a legacy. You've created a legacy and, you'll see where it goes, but it's a good start.
No, that is a great perspective to look at it that way, because it is nice. It's just a saying that my grandmother always said to me, but you can run with it however you want to. Cool. So all right, the next thing I have on here is tell me about your business, but it also has like a side note to it, which is like, what makes you tick? Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you do what you do, kind of thing? So tell me about your business.
Sure, man. I'm in a really unique place personally and professionally right now because, so going back to the identity crisis I mentioned earlier to you, I never really knew what I wanted to do. I never knew, there are people that sell mortgages, there are people that do marketing, there are people that do finance, there are people that are CPAs, and, whether they went to school for what they do or not, there are people out there that, they have an idea what they want. I never knew what I wanted. I just knew that I wanted to make money, I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to help people. And it's funny, about 5 years ago, I met my business partner, Greg Pajak. And I tell a lot of people that Greg kind of saved my life. And the reason I say that is because he saw this passion, he saw this skill that I had that I wasn't in the awareness of having it. And Greg and I co-founded an organization locally on Long Island where we brought young professionals and business owners together to network differently. And people really liked what we were doing. We were doing something different. We weren't, one of my least favorite things in business or in networking is when someone first meets you, the first thing they say is, "What do you do?" Like, people define themselves by what they do, and they don't talk about who they are. They don't kind of, that's like the tip of the iceberg. Talk about your hobbies, your passions, your interests, your family, your visions, your favorite vacations, what you like to do if you get a free fucking 2 hours. And Greg and I built this community, and right before COVID happened, we actually hosted these focus groups with business owners, these think tanks, to listen and learn what business owners wanted. We called it kind of the good, the bad, the ugly, the magnificent of what they wanted in their networking and their business development, and what would they want to be part of? Not what's out there that they would join, but what's something that they would be proud to want to be part of, something that was kind of built for them. And we had about 200 business owners over the course of 8 days come to these think tanks, and this is back in January of 2020. So you asked me what I do. So this is kind of the story to bring it there.
Yeah, no.
I never liked traditional networking. I never liked that people would just judge you based on leads and referrals. I think you should earn the right to give a referral or recommendation. I don't think that it should just be protocol because you're being told to, because you're in a group that if you don't do it, you have to put $1 in a tip jar. I don't like that, every single week in a traditional networking group, everybody goes around and tries to pitch themselves or sell themselves with literally something called an elevator pitch. The word networking to me always meant to collaborate, to find resources, to build relationships. It wasn't ever about the transactions of doing business together. I think that's a bonus of earning that trust to do business together. But the word networking, there's the founder of BNI. His name is Ivan Meisner. And Ivan created BNI, which is one of the most successful organizations, international organizations of networking. And one of the things that really bothers me about what Ivan did when he created BNI was he put a lot of transactions behind it. And the business of transactions are very important because that's what puts a roof over your head. That's what allows you to send your kids to college. That allows you to go on vacation, to put gas in your car. You need the business. But one of the things I really disagree with that Ivan did was he made it a very transactional environment where you're going around giving elevator pitches. You're required every single week to give leads and referrals. I think that people should do business with each other because they want to, not because they feel obligated to. So we kind of learned a lot about that in these think tank focus groups in January of 2020. And then in February of 2020, my business partner Greg and I learned about the word Whoggga, which is a Scandinavian lifestyle culture. So the name of my business is called Whoggga. And the word Whoggga is really spelled. I actually have right here. People buy me Whoggga gifts all the time. So this is how you really spell Whoggga. Wow. This is actually a book called Whoggga. But the way that we spell Whoggga, as I get my mouse pad out, is like this.
There you go.
So we were able to take the word who, and instead of asking what you do as a business owner, who you are, what makes you you, your hobbies, your passions, your interests, your families, your goals in life, and then the 3 G's, and you're a marketer, so you'll appreciate this. The 3 G's in Whoggga are our membership subscriptions, which are grind, grow, and gratify. And every business owner is in a different stage of their career. You personally, I believe that you probably associate being a G1, which is a grind subscriber, someone that's in the hustle, you're in the grind, you're trying to make it right now. Someone in the grow phase is in the mastering phase of their career, and someone in the gratify is in the difference making phase. They can help, they can give back, they can mentor, they can share experience. So we learned about this word Whoggga in February of 2020, and we were like, wow, if only, and the word Whoggga means to be comfortable, to be cozy, to be yourself, to not play charades, to not pretend to be someone else. And we were like, wow, business needs more Whoggga in it. Like, there's so many people that are just so fake or so bullshitty, or there's just sales reps that are just trying to pitch and sell product and service, and they don't even like what they do. Yeah. That's another thing about when somebody asks you what you do. Most people don't like what they do. So now you're starting off the conversation with them basically fucking lying to you about pretending to be happy with what they do. Meanwhile, they hate it and they really wish that they were doing what you do in video marketing.
Yeah.
So, and then in March of 2020 is when COVID hit, and Greg and I wanted to we didn't know what networking was going to look like in the, when COVID was over. We didn't know if, people were going to be virtual for the rest of life. Like, we had no idea. So we were like, you know what, let's take these 8 focus groups of over 200 business owners, and let's take all this feedback we got and let's build a brand. So I am the co-founder of Whoggga. We are an alternative to traditional networking. We are more of a business lifestyle community exclusive for entrepreneurs and business owners. The word Whoggga, once again, that culture, that vibe, that energy, if you were to Google the happiest places in the world to live, every single time you'll see Denmark, Finland, Norway, all these Scandinavian countries. And the word Whoggga is a Scandinavian word. And the reason that these countries are so happy is because of Whoggga. They practice this lifestyle of Whoggga. So why can't business owners be happy? Why can't business owners enjoy the experience of building relationships and rapport and teamwork and actually doing business with people they want to? One of our terms is relationships before business. So one of my goals, and my business partner, Greg, and I, this is the stage that we've built. One of my goals is to truly be a thought leader in the modern day age of networking. And for someone like Ivan Meisner, who absolutely is the founder of traditional networking, I would really love to be that pattern interrupt to change what people do, which I don't think that they enjoy doing, but I think they do it out of necessity.
That would be, I think from what you're just telling me, that is the obvious goal, is to be almost that mover in the industry. And really, I think where you're going with it makes a lot of sense because of this younger generation, because of the way social media runs, because of this, everything you just said, like having to just have this transactional of, oh, here's business, give me business. Like, I hated that. I think on our first conversation, I brought it up to you immediately, how I got harassed by somebody at like 10 o'clock at night. And I was just like, I'm not joining your networking group, man. Like, I'm sorry. And like, I don't care if it means business or not. Like, it's about caring about the people, caring about where their family is. And that is one of the things that stuck out to me when we spoke the first time. And again, that you just said it, like asking people about their family and what goes on in their, behind the scenes, closed doors, is really important.
There's so every month we do these huddles called support huddles for our members, where we will provide support, in a kind of a small group setting. And our conversation topic this month was ideal connection profile. So, people are always so focused on the direct business, the direct lead, the direct referral, that you forget about who your centers of influences are, that are game changers in your world of business. People that get you, people that are evangelists or raving fans of you, people that want to help you. And people are so busy constantly building new connections, that I feel like they don't even take the time to really focus on the existing connections that they have, that they've already invested the time and energy to build a relationship with. And, you can mutually beneficially help each other. But having those conversations, my business partner says this great quote. He says, easy conversations lead to hard times, and hard conversations lead to easy times. And so many people are so fake about their relationship when they first meet, or try to build a business relationship that's focused on, my favorite question is when someone at the end of a first meeting says, how can I help you? And it's like, you don't even know me. Like, but most people will say, oh, you can help me by referring me a mortgage if you know somebody that's buying a home, or, oh, you could refer me someone that needs a website if they need. And it's like, most of those conversations, it's like the chopping block. They just kind of end there, because like very rarely will people actually give someone a chance if they don't know them. And giving someone a chance doesn't have to be a lead or referral. It can be an introduction. When we first met, I introduced you to a couple of people because I saw a lot of value in you as a business professional, but I really liked you a lot as a person. And those introductions I made for you, it's unconventional opportunity. You never know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
If I just put the horse blinders on and only focus on referring Tom a lead or referral, what about all the other potential out there that could help him?
Yeah. And relationships and friends that you could acquire, and just like creating a happier life. I even just like this process of meeting people and I guess, I don't know if it's really the right word, but like comparing on like a positive level, like being like, yeah, you're killing it and I'm killing it too, and we're going to keep killing it together. Like, I love that aspect of it. Not like you're doing well and like, oh my God, how do I get to that point? It's like, no, like we're motivating each other by watching each other like succeed in what we're doing. I love that aspect of it. And like, you introduced me to Theo, who has a very similar business as me. He's only a few towns over from me. And like, I loved that conversation that we had, because we got to kind of talk. Like, he was like, yeah, this is what works for me. And I'm like, yeah, this is actually what works for me. And like, bounce that
You
off
should
each
absolutely
other,
have Theo on your podcast.
Yeah, we actually have him, I think Monday, I want to say, something like that. Yeah, he's coming on though, for sure. I'm excited about that.
You're gonna have the whole Whoggga community on your podcast.
Yeah, man. Take as many people as we could get. It's fun that I can kind of go down these routes, in a sense, meet more people and continue to go that path. It is exciting. All right, so everything that you just said, you definitely explained your business. But why did you get to this level? Like, why do you want to wake up in the morning and grow Whoggga as a company?
That's an awesome question. The why. Have you ever heard of Ikigai?
Yeah, you explained it a little bit to me, but.
All right. So Ikigai is a Japanese philosophy. If you've heard of the author, Simon Sinek, I mentioned to you, he wrote a book called Start With Why, the why behind why we do what we do. So many people focus on what we do, focus on why we do what we do. And Ikigai is finding your core, your center for being. It's something that the world needs. You can get paid for it. You have the skill set to do it. And, you have, there's a need for it out there and so forth. And when you take all these centers of your passion and you can do it and you can find this Ikigai, it's like that saying when someone says, you never work a day in your life. My love language is helping. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a server. I want to make others around me happy. Growing up as a kid, when people would ask me what would make me happy, I would say when people around me are happy. I remember my high school yearbook quote was, I want to make all the money in the world so I can give it all away. So the reason behind my why is I'm a leader. I'm a resource to, right now we're up to 70 members in Whoggga. And, we only launched 16 months ago and we only invite in one member a week. So it's like, we're growing from a quality standpoint phenomenally. We get a lot of requests to join and interest, but it's more so about finding people of the right culture to invite into the community. And my business partner, Greg, and I, whenever we would invite somebody in, we'd say to ourselves, like, is this someone that if they knocked on our door on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock and they needed a place to stay or their car broke down, is this someone that we would want in our house? And every single one of our members, not only would I want them in my house, I would let them, if they needed to take a shower, if they needed a place to sleep, if they needed, a day to just lay low. So what I'm getting at is I get to make a difference every single day for these business owners that need support, that don't have maybe a business partner like, myself and Greg do, or maybe they don't have a mentor or a role model, or maybe they feel stuck, or maybe they're going through something personally and they don't know how to get, a resource to it. I love that I wake up every day as a resource to every single one of these members. And a lot of our members lean on me and they'll ask me for help, or they'll say, Adam, can you walk me through this situation? And I don't always have the answer at all. But what's really cool, Tom, is if someone reaches out to me and says, Adam, this is what I'm going through, I need help, I can get someone on the phone right then and there. And I'll likely do it. And I'll say, hey, I'm on the phone with Tom. This is a situation. I love that. That's like a steroid of happiness for me. So you talk about what success looks like. I get to help people every single day that are business owners that, hey, Adam, I'm looking for a connection in this arena because I'm trying to do business. Or, hey, Adam, I'm looking to get business from a company like this, but do you know anyone that already works in that type of industry that can maybe coach me or mentor me or answer some questions I have? So my why is I get to serve awesome people that I genuinely not just believe in, but I want to elevate them to the best of my ability. And that's why I do what I do.
That's awesome. It's the best reason to do something is to help other people. And I don't even think I told you this, but someone said to me recently, like, help 10 people and, you'll gain success from one of them, kind of thing. You'll, get business from one of them, kind of something like that. And I've now made it a goal of mine this year to try and help 5 people in any way possible. That is a goal that I'm trying to put out there, like genuinely help people. I know for me, it'll probably be like younger individuals and things like that. And I actually signed up for Big Brothers Big Sisters in September.
Oh, cool. My buddy Rob is a big brother. If you want an introduction to him, he's been involved for a long time. One of the things that I say to people, Tom, and I say this to people pretty much, every day, is I'll say, and and sometimes I'll have to ask the question twice. I'll say, what's keeping you up at night? Whether it's personally or professionally, what's keeping you up at night? Tom, let me help you.
Yeah.
If you want my help, if you don't want my help, I get it, man. But if there's something keeping you up at night, what is it?
Yeah.
And there might not always be a solution. Sometimes someone just needs to say it. They just need to hear it out loud to come into their own awareness of it, to take action, to, do something with it.
Yeah. You're 100% right. It can just be that one thing or that one conversation with somebody to kind of just open up their brain a little bit more. And I'm sure you even find too that people have all the answers. You just have to have the conversation.
One thing that I will caution you on is, and my business partner feels very strongly about this. So in Whoggga, how we have the words grind, grow, and gratify, we all want to gratify. But if we focus too much on gratification at the wrong stage of our life and our career, it could potentially be, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I've given back a lot. I've donated my time. I've volunteered. I've helped people. I've done calls that I shouldn't do, but I do them because I want to help or make a difference because it's my love language. And I will tell you that it's distracted me. It's hurt my discipline, my focus. And I think that if it's something that my father, he says, it either complements your life or complicates your life. So I encourage you to help people. Make sure they're people that you believe deserve or earn your help. Yeah. And that if you are going to go out of your way to help them, make sure that they're being accountable for the help you're providing to them. Just because you can't help everybody. And, if someone's not going to take action or if someone's not going to do something about it, you can only have the same conversation so many times.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink it. That's a good one. All right, cool. I mean, that's really good. Everything you just said there, your why is a great why. It's probably the most powerful one on the podcast so far, realistically, just because helping people is something that has been deeply rooted in my own personal life, just throughout family members and things. Like, I've seen it time and time again, and I've seen like the benefits of it. And it seems like the people who work their lives and go, I've created this and I don't want to help anybody. I'm just going to sit in my mansion and wipe my butt with money. They don't go anywhere, but the people who help people consistently get to experience like something much bigger.
There's an amazing book that I beyond recommend. It's called The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver. So this is a funny book. And I don't mean it's a funny book comically. It's a funny book because it's a very ironic book. It's written about, someone that is a giver that just wants to help and make a difference to people. I've had about 13 people give me this book as a gift. That's why I laugh and say it's funny. And anytime anyone ever gives me a book, I always say, please write a personalized message inside of it. And if you haven't read it yet, and I know you said you're not the biggest reader, but it's a book that I don't read a lot, to be honest with you. I'll listen to books or I'll read a synopsis, but The Go-Giver is a book that you should want to read. You'll connect with it immediately, and you'll be able to learn how to implement ways of giving that is a different way of thinking.
I'm gonna check it out because the last book you recommended to me, the E-Myth.
Oh shit! I'm batting 1,000% with you with books.
Literally,
well, the E-Myth is just a book that, it's a book.
Every business owner, and it doesn't matter what stage of business you're in, that's the cool part. Like, I've been recommending it to people that I know that have established businesses, and then I've been recommending it to people who are like, I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm like, great, both of you read this book, So
the worst is not the worst, but I've recommended the book to a lot of people that were startup entrepreneurs that read the book and they actually chose not to go into entrepreneurship because they're like, this is not going to be for me. Yeah. I want to be the technician. I want to be focused on what I love doing. I don't want to run a business. I don't want to think about tax returns. So it's a good wake-up call for people too.
It definitely is. It was a wake-up call for me in a sense to kind of realize, where do I want to land in this? Do I want to be? But I told myself months ago, I don't always want to be the creative person, as much as it's fun to be like a Picasso, everybody wants to get to that level of like creativity. It's like, oh, I'm, world renowned. It's like, yeah, but I'd rather have a team of 50 Picassos working for me, Truly, and that to me is way more fun. So, all right. Next question I got on the list here is about winning. So it's, have you ever won at anything in life? Now it can be literally anything. It can be sports, it can be school related, work related, whatever.
I won by surrounding myself with amazing people. That's what I'm going to say. Probably my whole life. That's something that I don't know if it's a characteristic of me that has subconsciously done it for myself. I don't know if it's just the law of attraction or energy, but I can't tell you how much of a winner I feel like with the people that I've surrounded myself with. I feel infinite wealth, and I don't mean from a financial standpoint. I feel infinite, very complete because of the people that I get to spend time with every day. After this podcast, I get to go hang out with Jason Hershkowitz, who's one of my closest friends. He's our community leader for Whoggga. And, whether it's spending time and being around my family, whether it's being around friends, this Sunday, dude, I don't know if you have any plans. We're doing the polar bear plunge in Long Beach at one of our members' houses. It's spectacular. But when you're just around people that are nice, no agenda, conversation. Just, I think the people we surround ourselves with can make us winners. So that's my answer. Where I won.
I would be interested in a polar bear plunge for sure. To go off of what you just said, though, is there a correlation between the people that you found, that you attract to you?
I don't have a scientific answer for you. As I was saying to my wife, I can tell you what my opinion is.
Yeah.
My opinion on the correlation with the people is, I think vulnerability would be a big word here. Being able to open up, being your true self, not, playing any charades, not be afraid to be yourself. I would say that that's the correlation with the people. I mean, I'm sure, you've met people that, the word fake is unfortunately a real word where, people live their Facebook lives, and it's just, so I would say that all the people I surround myself with are very authentic, very genuine. They give a fuck. They build a relationship back with you. I have I lost a couple of friends, they didn't pass away, but I lost a couple of friends during COVID that have been friends of mine for a long time, and I was always the one to reach out to them to spend time together. And I kind of stopped doing that during COVID, not just because people weren't seeing each other, but I was like, you know what, like let them reach out to me. And I'll tell you that, finding people that build a relationship back with you, that's a really top of the list priority thing when I meet somebody is, are they building a relationship back with me, or is it like a one-sided conversation?
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't like obviously a question on the list. It just, you had me thinking about, the correlations between, I think that's powerful for people when they are looking outside of, their friend groups or their family, what they should be looking at. And vulnerability is definitely a big one, because probably some of the most influential people that I even just say on the internet, some of these big names, these guys are very vulnerable. They'll tell these stories about, their downfalls and their fears and all of the in-betweens. So yeah, I think that's important. All right. So the next thing I have on here goes into core values, cultural beliefs. I like asking this because from my standpoint, growing up, I was told a lot of things in the essence of money and how it's really hard to obtain money, and you're always chasing it, basically always chasing it, paycheck to paycheck, things like that. And I've had to do a lot of reading and educating to kind of remove myself from that mindset. So have you had anything that you've had to kind of get rid of or remove in your life that was like a cultural belief that someone taught you early on, or, maybe in school, whatever?
So let's ask this question a little bit differently. Ask this question to me, if you don't mind, one more time. Just ask it very direct, because I want to be able to answer I want to be able to answer it. The ADHD kicked in a little bit.
So here's the direct. What core values or cultural beliefs did you keep, and which ones did you have to remove?
So let's go with the remove ones first. So I'm a real asshole. I'm a really nice guy. I mean well. I'm a very direct person. Sometimes I don't think before I talk. And I don't mean to be an asshole. But that's something that I've always kind of dealt with is, and it's funny, like, people be like, wait, what? Like, ask my wife, she'll tell you. She'll ask my dad, he'll tell you. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just the people closest to me, or maybe it's the family. I don't know what that is, but I have a lot of anxiety. I just genuinely have a lot of anxiety, and I don't know if that's what triggers me. I don't know if it's my brain just overworking and lack of focus or lack of discipline, but I've had to learn to give less of a fuck. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I've become less of an asshole. And this was really hard for me to learn because I care so much and I actively try to help so much that I actually create this anxiety internally that weighs me down and actually increases the blood pressure, increases, my frustration levels. So, from a spiritual standpoint, I believe in karma. I believe that you should treat others, well. From an Adams standpoint, my takeaway of what I've learned about myself over the past year is that I need to chill the fuck out. I need to relax a little bit more. I need to do a little bit more me time. Exercise is tremendous. I haven't really been exercising a lot. I've recently got into a better routine. Habits are better than routines. Habits is habitual. Routines change. Things can mess up a routine. So what the coach I work with, his name is Brett Knopf. Brett and I, we have our meetings every single Monday. I have on my whiteboard right here. We talk about health, both physical and mental. We talk about our habits. We talk about my company Whoggga. We talk about my brand that I'm building right now as a thought leader in the networking and business development space. We talk about my family and the dynamic with them and everything else. But yeah, that answers it
in full circle. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, look, that's great as far as. I mean, being able to recognize that is kind of part of this question in a sense, being able to recognize something that you've turning the lens on yourself, being like, what have I, been taught, what have been doing, and how do I remove this from my life because it's causing me to have some kind of issue. And that's why I said, even for me, like, or another subject, something you just touched on is like people in my lives, watering those dead plants in a sense.
Oh, wow. I never heard that before. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Wow. Dude, let me tell you something. Before COVID, I used to water a lot of dead plants, not just my friends, but like in business.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, man, being aware of it. Like, I know you're a few years younger than me. That's great. Watering dead plants. Wow.
It's just that one word changes it all. But that's true. It's very true. Everybody kind of. Also growing up with people you're comfortable around, you're like, oh, well, we've been hanging out for the past, 10, 15, 20 years. I've known them since kindergarten, whatever it is, we've been hanging out. And
so that's the kicker. Hold on. So my dad told me this one. My dad asked me why I'm not hanging out with some friends from, that we used to hang out with, people that were groomsmen at my wedding. And I'm like, I told him the reason. And he's like, Adam, he goes, there's no shortcut to history. And those relationships you've grown and developed over time. And you might have grown apart, but that doesn't mean you can't grow back together. And I still haven't texted these people. It's been probably 2 years, and it's like, we were best friends. And it's like, so you question, is this a dead plant that I'm watering? Is it a plant that can come back to life? But I just have to put the effort in of watering it. By the way, Disney Plus, check out Lava. It's a short. It's about 7 minutes long. The song is fantastic, and you'll connect with this as a video guy.
Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, that's like their new animated series kind of thing, right? It's like associated with
kind of. It's just
Moana
short
or
reels.
something.
No, this is different.
Oh, okay.
LAVA Disney Plus. I'll give you my login if you need it.
No, I got one. Cool. Yeah, I love all that. I do. You gotta watch out for watering those dead plants, though. For me personally, it wasn't even really figuring out that I was watering dead plants. It was figuring out that my friends that I was hanging out with were not encouraging me to be the best version of myself. That's gonna be the thumbnail right there for this video. But for me, that was a big thing, though. Having to deal with people that are just not encouraging you and the things that you want, and not they're portraying their own fears on you. And in a sense, that's almost the same thing. Cool. All right. So honestly, this is a question I've been wanting to ask you. In the last conversation, we spoke for like an hour and a half, I think, the last time we were on the phone together, or even longer, like 2.5 hours, it felt like. So spirituality in a nutshell. Are you spiritual at all? And when I say spiritual, I'm not asking like, do you believe in God, or are you Jewish, or this, that, whatever. More, do you meditate? Do you pray to some kind of being, something that's internally where it pushes you forward?
Kind of answered that a little bit in the last question, because I thought that's what you were asking me in the last question, the spiritual side.
So yeah, yes and no. I mean, I did kind of ask that in a sense, but now I'm really asking it more like, do you do this on a daily basis?
I show gratitude every day.
Okay.
I have so much to be thankful for, man. To a point where it actually can hurt me for how thankful I am of it. Sometimes you fear what you might ever lose. I watched another podcast that you did where you interviewed the gentleman from the assisted living facility. And, you talked about, a person that you wake up next to every day, and you wake up one day and they're not there.
Yeah.
So you think about the relationship you have with your kids or your family, your parents or your grandparents or your friends or your best friend, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And I think my spirituality is gratitude. I'm not a big meditator. I'll close my eyes and I'll take a couple of deep breaths to just breathe a little bit here and there. But I'm very observant to the things around me that I have, even something as simple as, having a car in the driveway that has gas in it to get me to my next meeting, something as simple as that. We have all these things around us that are so many little wins. Like the best win is fucking waking up in the morning. Like what win is better than that? You think about you drink some water to hydrate yourself after your body becomes dehydrated overnight into the morning. That's a win. You drink some water. You were able to turn on the coffee pod. If you make coffee, that's a win. You're gonna have a hot cup of coffee. We do all these things all day long that are so subliminal to us because they're just second nature. We don't even think about them, but it's a fucking win. And that's my spirituality, is looking at life as, not just showing appreciation for all the things around me, but also for myself. One of our members of Whoggga, she said to remember to be kind to yourself. That was like almost as good as watering a dead plant. We're so busy all day long being kind to others, helping others, taking care of others, doing things that we do for others. I looked at my credit card statement earlier and I'm like, none of this stuff was purchased by me, but it was all to support my family, all for others. It's like you're constantly serving others that you forget to serve yourself. I selfishly recently binge watched the show Yellowstone. Oh my God.
Was it good?
It was fun. I liked Sons of Anarchy, and Sons of Anarchy was about bikers. This was about farmers in Montana, and it was cool, man. I binged it on Peacock. It was awesome. I did that for me. So what I'm going to answer the question is my spirituality is just showing a gratitude and appreciation, and literally celebrating the little wins and celebrating the little pieces that make me happy every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing. I really like to thank every day for the people in my life. I go through individually each person in my life and I thank them. For me, that's really important to me. And those small things that you just said.
You do it mentally?
Yeah, just in my head, I'm like, thank you for this.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Well, one of my business partner, Greg, he does this thing called Gratitude Friday, where every Friday he picks a different person randomly that's in his life that he appreciates, and he'll give them a gratification call to just say thank you. And I don't do it every Friday. You know, he's very routine in his schedule of habits. I do it if I'm feeling that way. I'll just reach out to someone, but you never know what you're going to say to someone or how it's going to make their day, or maybe they don't know you feel that way.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I need to do that, because some of these people, I'm sure that I'm thinking probably could use a message from me saying thank you, as opposed to just me saying it in my head. Cool. And it's funny too. I remember one of the things, like, just as kind of like a side note, but just so small. Have you ever seen the movie Step Brothers before?
It's my favorite movie. I have 3 favorite movies. That is the first one.
Okay, so yeah, it's so funny. And in Step Brothers, at like the end of the movie, he has to like use the bathroom and he goes to like wipe his ass and he has like no toilet paper and he's like, oh no. He uses the carpet. It's so gross. And then like the next scene it cuts to and he's like outside the store, like, yeah, like all excited.
Now he's got the toilet paper on his shoulder. Yeah. What does this have to connect this?
So that scene is directly related to my gratitude of moving out, because the second I moved out of my house, I was like, man, toilet paper is expensive. Like paper towels, paper plates, cups, whatever, paper goods you want to buy. I'm like, this is expensive. And the first time I went to the store, I went to like BJ. So I spent like $120 on paper goods. And I remember I called my mom right after and I was like, Mom, thank you. I was like, I didn't realize how expensive all these things cost. And you've been spending all this money for years and years and years. And I use extra paper towels, extra toilet paper. I never even thought of it, never even crossed my mind. And I always think of that scene because that was like, like walking out of the store, like, yeah, I finally did
it. Yeah, man. Yes. And after spending $120 on paper goods at BJ's, you were set for 3 years. So that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. As a single person, for sure, you definitely last a long time with that. But it makes me laugh, it totally makes me laugh. All right. So on the opposite spectrum of spirituality and things, that help you move forward, there's obviously the negative aspects. So like fear. Fear, I think, comes in a lot of different ways for different people. So you said before you have like anxiety in a sense. That's kind of a form of fear, let's say. How do you use that to push you forward throughout the day? Like, are there any tricks that you can use to kind of like snap you out of it?
I've noticed a pattern that I pause when you ask me questions.
No, it's okay. You're thinking. So you're supposed to do.
Is there a fear? So I'll say this. I don't know what it is, Tom. I wouldn't call myself a very motivated person. Other people might disagree with me. Other people might be like, are you fucking kidding me, Adam? For some reason in my head, I don't know if it's a blocker or a roadblock or something. I'm actually pretty fucking lazy. I'm not. I don't mind cats. I'm allergic to them. But like, I think if like I wasn't any animal, like I think I'd probably be a cat. Like, not even like a couch potato. Like, just like lazy. And I don't really know. What it is, why I'm not maybe more motivated. One of the things I talk with my coach about is how I'm just so happy where I am that like I don't want more. Like, it's not about greed or selflessness of like wanting more. Like, I'm just happy. Like, so like I think that's part of my lack of motivation is that I'm happy. And we've heard that saying, when you get too comfortable, you get complacent and everything. And one of the things that I'm extremely thankful for is not just my coach, Brett, but my business partner, Greg. I've never really had anyone that like gave a shit about me, that took me under their wing, that my partner, Greg, by the way, like he's an alien. Like, and when I say he's an alien, like he's not human. Like he is so organized and structured and he's smart and he knows like all these tips and tricks and this and that. And like, he's actually like really taking me under his wing. Like he's the first person I've ever had in my life to really push me back or push back against me or my excuses. Or when I mentioned school earlier, I talked about like manipulating or finagling my way around things. And like with Greg, there's none of that, man. Like he'll tell me something. And then if he has to tell me again, he'll remind me that he had to tell me this again. And he doesn't want to have to tell me a third time type thing. So what I'm getting at is if there's a fear, if there's something that's going on, I would say for me, it's really just been lack of motivation or being too comfortable, where I consciously think about this now to the point where it's like, you know what, like I really, 36 years old, like, it took me up until now to really figure out what I want to do with my life. And it's like, all right, you know what you want to do now? Like, let's go. Like the train's here. It's taking off. You better get your ass on it. So hope that answers the question.
You absolutely answered the question. It's putting yourself in more uncomfortable situations to attack the fear head on is kind of what I'm getting from it, and you're realizing that it's like, okay, I put myself in comfortable situations. I like it. I'm happy, but it's almost causing fear in that sense, because you're like, what if it goes away? What if, then you start kind of getting all these other thoughts, I would feel. So
one Greg has this quote. I always botch it up, but it's, sacrificing pleasurable experiences for pleasurable results. And I genuinely enjoy pleasurable experiences where I will binge watch Yellowstone over 2 weeks because it's a pleasurable experience. My coach Brett was like, Adam, that's not getting you anywhere. Watching that, it's just, it's taking time away from your focus, from your energy, from your family, from your sleep, from something else that you'd be doing. And I'm like, you're right. And I honestly admit, I didn't have the discipline not to want to watch it.
I mean, I think there's also, a level of like healthiness in doing that. Like I've heard it was something big for me is when I was listening to Ed Mylett, which I think Ed Mylett, motivational speaker. He was talking and he was like, yeah, like I watch Netflix some nights and like hang out. And like it was refreshing hearing somebody at his level being like, you watch Netflix? Like I thought you just wake up and just like get to it at 4:00 in the morning and don't stop until midnight. Yeah, like that's what you think, but no, they're human. Like they want to relax too and just like take a couple hours off. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you were like, binge watching show after show after show after show, then you'd be like, yeah, this is definitely an issue. But you choose your battles in a sense. All right, cool. So this has been like really good. There's just few other things more about you in a sense. So is there anything that you're currently working on right now that you wanted to talk about?
I'm working on a brand for myself. I'm transitioning away from my consulting brand. I still have Whoggga. Whoggga is my main, where I'm putting a lot of my time and energy into, but Whoggga actually is allowing me to build the stage for the new brand I'm looking to build. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. I'm playing around with a couple things, but it's basically going to be an influencer and thought leader in the market, in the space of networking and networking development, relationship building, building more solid core centers of influences. So, and I'm sure I'll monetize it. I'm not even building it as a business plan to monetize it. I'm really looking to build it as more of a thought leader to get my brand out there, my name out there, my passion to educate people on different things they can do in networking and ways that they could be more successful with their relationships and how they're developing them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on right now.
That's cool. That sounds super exciting. I would totally indulge in a lot of your content for sure. All right, cool. So then do you have any goals going forward, even for this year or for upcoming years?
So one goal that we have right now is to reach 100 members of Whoggga. So we're at 70 right now, so 30 more to go.
You got it.
That's a goal that I have right now. Another goal that I have is to really get my shit together. It's a big goal. It's a hard goal. I want to get my shit together health-wise. I want to lose a little bit of weight, get healthier, look a little bit better. I also want to be healthier for my kids, internally, my body, less body fat. Another really big goal that I have for myself right now is to let my true colors shine with who I am and how I help people, and to not hold that back. And it's something that's going with the content and the development of the brand that I'm building, that I really, I'm doing a disservice to people around me by not getting out there sooner. So that's the goal I have, is to get out there sooner.
I agree. You should be talking to more and more people and share the word, because just the information you've given me so far has changed my life, like actually changed my life in the most amazing ways possible. So
you're welcome, man. You're worth it.
Yeah, well, thank you, thank you. You know, I couldn't say thank you enough. You spent more than enough time talking to me the first conversation we had, and I got off that call and told everybody I know, was like, I met this guy and he did something that I've never had happen to me before. He spent time with me and didn't ask me for money. Like, it's like, this is crazy.
Tom, my calendar used to be blocked from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. blocked. Like I wouldn't even give myself a bathroom break. Even if I was in the car going somewhere, I'd call somebody. And I had a lot of people, that care about me, mentors, friends, role models, that said, this isn't healthy. You can't do this.
Yeah.
And right now where I am, my calendar is pretty much open almost every single day. And the reason I do that is I spend all day reaching out to my members of Whoggga to see how they're doing, what I can do to support them.
Yeah.
If somebody calls me, I want to be able to make the time for them. Once again, being intentional with your time. If my time, I could always work on the business and do what I have to do. But if someone calls me, if someone reaches out to me, if I need to reach out to someone that I can add value to. So,
cool. Love it, man. I love it. All right. So the last thing is on here is, where can people find you if they wanted to like get any information about you, or maybe even try and attempt to join Whoggga, be one of the lucky members?
Sure. They can Google my name, Adam Holtzer. They could shoot me a text message, 631-664-6114. Come easy, man.
That is easy. It's probably the best way.
Find me on LinkedIn. Connect with me. I'm not going to, find my website and find all that other shit.
Yeah.
Text me.
Yeah, you got plenty of stuff out there. Awesome. All right, cool. So
Tom, you do a really great job with this. This has been a very enjoyable podcast I've been on, and you really set the tone nicely. Good energy.
Thanks. I try. I've indulged in a lot of podcasts myself, and I listen to a lot of people. And how I started this off with you is, I would never have the opportunity to ask you. I mean, we spoke for a while, and I didn't have the opportunity to ask you all of these questions. I got into a lot of them with you, which was exciting, but just to be able to ask somebody these questions, understand where they sit mentally, physically, spirituality, like all of those things, it makes my life feel better. It makes me feel better waking up knowing that there's other people out there who go through the exact same things that I do, and that, I have the ability to grow and become something more by maybe stealing some of the ideas that you use,
Please adapt and modify, baby.
Exactly.
Tom, what's your favorite movie?
That's a good question, because I have like a bunch of favorite movies. What's funny is, someone had me watch this movie the other day called The Shack. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. It's on Amazon. It's a sad movie, but it talks about like it's like a religious movie in a sense. It talks about God and so on. But man, it was a powerful movie. It's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. Realistically, it was just like heart-wrenching but powerful. But I'm like an action movie guy, so I don't know. I've always liked like Fast and Furious movies, and like,
oh my god, I can't stop watching expendable movies.
Great movies, I love Marvel movies. I'm super into like Marvel Universe.
Dude, I just watched Wakanda Forever.
Me too.
And that last scene with the little boy when he says that he's the prince, I'm like, oh my god, dude, bawling. I'm like, yes, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was funny because we watched it, and I think I heard like bad reviews or something, so I was like skeptical. But I was like, this movie is amazing. I don't know why anybody said anything bad about it. I was like, this is a really good movie.
I don't know what anyone said about it, but
yeah.
Oh, man. Thank you again for having me. I'm thankful that Roy connected us. It's a really nice. I'm excited for us to build onto our relationship foundation together. I think that there'll be a lot of really great future conversations ahead of us, Tom.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're going to get you back on the podcast in the future for sure.
After we hit 100 members.
Yeah. We'll check back in, see where you're at, kind of thing.